The NFL doesn't just suspend players. Sometimes they erase them completely. No press conferences, no comeback stories, no second chances, just gone. In the next 15 minutes, I'm breaking down every NFL player who didn't just get suspended, they got banned. And some of these stories are so dark, the league pretends they never existed. From gambling addicts, to drug kingpins, to actual murderers, this is every banned NFL player explained raw. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll understand why the NFL would rather you forget these names entirely. Before we dive in, let's be clear about what banned actually means in the NFL. We're not talking about your typical 4-game suspension for a dirty hit, or even a season-long ban for substance abuse. We're talking about players who were permanently removed from the league, either officially or through an unspoken blacklist so powerful that their careers ended overnight. Some got formal lifetime bans, others just disappeared. The NFL made sure they'd never play again, and in some cases, made sure we'd never talk about them again. Here's every single one. Art Schlichter. Schlichter was supposed to be the next great NFL quarterback, 4th overall pick in 1982. Strong arm from Ohio State. The Indianapolis Colts thought they had their franchise guy, but Schlichter had a secret that would destroy not just his career, but his entire life. He was addicted to gambling. Not your casual fantasy football bet. We're talking about a full-blown destructive addiction that started in college and exploded once he got NFL money. In his first season alone, he reportedly lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Horse racing, casino games, sports betting. If you could wager on it, Schlichter was throwing money at it. To cover his losses, he started writing bad checks, borrowing from teammates, lying to coaches. And here's the kicker. He was betting on NFL games, including games he was playing in. The league suspended him for the entire 1983 season. He came back briefly, played 13 total career games, and was permanently banned by the mid-80s. But that's where this story gets really dark. After football, Schlichter kept gambling. He's been in and out of prison for decades. Fraud, theft, running ticket scams. He once sold fake Ohio State football tickets and pocketed the money. As of today, he's still dealing with legal issues. The NFL won't even mention his name. Art Schlichter wasn't just banned, he was erased. Paul Hornung and Alex Karras. Before there were FanDuel commercials during every timeout, there was Paul Hornung and Alex Karras. And in 1963, they became the first NFL superstars to get banned for gambling. Hornung was the Golden Boy, Heisman winner, Green Bay Packers star, Vince Lombardi's favorite player. He could run, throw, and kick. A legitimate superstar in an era when players had off-season jobs. Alex Karras was a dominant defensive tackle for Detroit. Tough as nails, future actor, yeah, he was in Blazing Saddles and Webster. But both were caught betting on NFL games, including games involving their own teams. Commissioner Pete Rozelle knew that if fans thought outcomes were rigged, the league would collapse overnight. So in 1963, Rozelle did the unthinkable. He suspended both players for the entire season at the height of their careers. Hornung missed out on a potential 3rd NFL title. But here's the twist, they came back. Both were reinstated in 1964. Hornung returned to Green Bay and won another championship. Karras kept dominating for Detroit and became a Hollywood star. They're both remembered as legends now. But their suspensions were the first time the NFL ever dropped the hammer on players for gambling. It set the precedent for everything that came after. And trust me, what came after was way worse. Sam Hurd. Hurd wasn't a superstar. He was a depth receiver, special teams guy. Quiet, hardworking, the kind of player coaches love. In 2011, the Chicago Bears gave him a $5 million contract. What nobody knew was that Sam Hurd was trying to become a drug kingpin. And this isn't speculation, this is DEA file stuff. On December 14, 2011, Hurd met with an undercover agent in a Chicago steakhouse. What he didn't know was that the entire thing was a federal sting operation. He told the agent he wanted to buy 5 to 10 kilograms of cocaine, 1,000 pounds of marijuana per week. Let that sink in. A current NFL player was trying to wholesale narcotics. He even claimed he was already distributing drugs and wanted to scale up the business. The DEA arrested him on the spot. Within weeks, he failed 2 drug tests. The league immediately cut ties. No trial needed. He later pleaded guilty to drug trafficking and was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. Real time in a high-security facility. When the dust settled, Sam Hurd went down as one of the most surreal NFL bans of all time. No one saw it coming. No one had ever tried to run a drug empire while actively on an NFL roster. The NFL doesn't talk about Sam Hurd anymore, for obvious reasons. Aaron Hernandez. Hernandez had it all: size, speed, swagger. By age 23, he was catching touchdowns from Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. He had a $40 million contract with the New England Patriots. And then, overnight, it all collapsed. Hernandez was drafted in 2010. Teams were wary. There were whispers about substance use, violence, gang affiliations. But Bill Belichick gave him a shot, and Hernandez delivered. By 2011, he and Rob Gronkowski formed the most dangerous tight end duo the NFL had ever seen. Hernandez looked unstoppable, but behind the scenes, he was living a double life. On June 17, 2013, Odin Lloyd, a semi-pro football player dating Hernandez's fiance's sister, was found murdered near Hernandez's home. Within days, the investigation pointed to Aaron. The Patriots cut him immediately. Then came the revelations. The evidence piled up. In 2015, he was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. And just when it seemed like his story was over, it wasn't. In 2017, Hernandez was found dead in his prison cell. He had taken his own life. Aaron Hernandez wasn't just suspended. He was erased from the NFL's history because his story was too dark to include and too real to ignore. The Patriots removed every trace of him. Jersey sales stopped. Highlights disappeared. The NFL pretends he never existed. Darren Sharper. Sharper was one of the most feared safeties in NFL history. 5-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion with New Orleans, 63 career interceptions. After retirement, he became a media personality. Smooth talker, good-looking, seemed to have it all figured out. But Sharper was living a horrific double life that would make him one of the most despised figures in sports history. Between 2013 and 2014, Sharper was accused of drugging and sexually assaulting women in multiple states. We're talking about a serial predator who used his NFL fame to target victims. The details are too disturbing to go into fully, but here's what we know. He pleaded guilty or no contest to charges in Louisiana, Arizona, California, and Nevada. In 2016, he was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison. The judge called him a serial rapist who showed a complete lack of remorse. The NFL immediately distanced itself from Sharper. His Hall of Fame credentials became irrelevant overnight. Teams removed his photos from their facilities. The Saints took down his Ring of Honor plaque. The NFL Network fired him and scrubbed his appearances. Darren Sharper went from NFL legend to completely erased, and rightfully so. Some lines, once crossed, can never be uncrossed. Ray Rice. Before 2014, Ray Rice was a model NFL citizen, 3-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, face of the Ravens offense. Short, powerful, tough. The kind of running back who did everything right on and off the field. Then came the elevator, and a decision that changed everything. security footage surfaced of Ray Rice and his then-fiancée Janae Palmer in an Atlantic City casino elevator. At first, all the public saw was the aftermath, Rice dragging her unconscious body out of the elevator. The NFL suspended him for 2 games. 2. A punishment lighter than some players got for celebrating too long. The backlash was immediate. Media, players, fans, everyone said the same thing. 2 games? That's it? But the NFL stood by it. They claimed they didn't have all the facts. They said it was standard protocol. Then came the full video. It showed Ray Rice knocking Janae unconscious with a left hook. And suddenly, the league flipped. Ray Rice was cut by the Ravens, indefinitely suspended by the NFL, and blacklisted from the league. He was only 27 years old, healthy, productive, and never played another down. What makes this ban so important isn't just what Rice did, it's what it exposed. The NFL had clearly seen enough of the incident before the public did, but they didn't act until the public saw it too. The problem wasn't just violence, it was evidence. It was image management. Calvin Ridley. Ridley didn't throw a game. He wasn't even playing, but in 2021, he placed a $1,500 parlay on NFL games while away from the team for mental health reasons. And the league hit him with a season-long suspension. Let's break this down. Ridley had stepped away from the Atlanta Falcons midway through the 2021 season. He cited mental health struggles, depression, anxiety, burnout. The Falcons supported it publicly. Fans did too. It looked like the league was finally taking emotional wellness seriously. But during that time off, Ridley opened up a sports betting app. He wagered on a multi-leg parlay that included the Falcons winning. A small bet made legally in Florida with no inside info and no impact on the outcome. The NFL's response? Indefinite suspension, minimum 1 full year. That meant missing all of 2022 and losing $11 million in salary. Here's the irony. That same year, the NFL struck major gambling deals with Caesars, DraftKings, and FanDuel. There were betting commercials during games. The league literally partnered with the industry while banning a player for using it. And let's be clear, Ridley wasn't fixing outcomes. He bet on his own team to win. He wasn't the first guy to gamble. He just did it in the wrong era. The one where the league profits from betting, but won't tolerate players being seen as gamblers. In 2023, he was reinstated and traded to Jacksonville. He came back strong, but that stain was still there. Colin Kaepernick. There was no press release, no headline that said Colin Kaepernick is banned. He never failed a drug test, never got arrested. He just knelt and then vanished. Let's rewind. In 2016, Kaepernick was the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. He decided to kneel during the national anthem. He wasn't seeking attention. He wasn't trying to disrespect troops. He was protesting police brutality, quietly, intentionally, and it blew up. The moment cameras caught it, the conversation stopped being about football. It became politics. Fans burned jerseys. TV hosts lost their minds. Politicians started tweeting. And the NFL, it panicked. At the end of that season, Kaepernick opted out of his contract. He was still just 29 years old, healthy, athletic, a former Super Bowl quarterback. He assumed he'd get signed. He didn't. Not in 2017, not in 2018, not ever. He trained, stayed in shape. Other QBs were getting signed. Guys with half his resume, no playoff wins, no mobility. But Kaepernick's name didn't come up, not even for workouts. He eventually filed a collusion grievance against the NFL, accusing team owners of working together to keep him out. The case never made it to trial. They settled privately. Even today, the league insists he wasn't blackballed. They say it was football decisions, but everyone knows that's not true. Kaepernick wasn't banned by a suspension. He was banned by fear, by the unspoken rule that says, you can say what you want until it hurts our bottom line. And that's why, to this day, he remains the most quietly banned player in NFL history. 8 players, 8 different reasons, 8 cautionary tales about what happens when you cross the line in the NFL. Some deserved it: Hernandez, Sharper, Hurd. Others got caught up in changing times: Hornung, Karras, Ridley. And some, like Kaepernick, paid the price for standing up for what they believed in. But here's the thing about the NFL. It's not just a league, it's a business. And when players threaten that business, whether through crime, gambling, or controversy, the league has one response: erase them. These aren't just suspensions. These are warnings to every current player about what happens when you step too far out of line. The game goes on, new stars emerge, but these 8 names serve as a reminder that in the NFL, no one is untouchable. That's every banned NFL player, explained Raw. If you want more unfiltered breakdowns like this, smash that like button and subscribe. It actually helps more than you think. Drop a comment and let me know which banned player story shocked you the most. Was it Hurd trying to run a drug empire, Hernandez's double life, or Kaepernick's silent blackballing?